From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
So, Miss Vicky.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when we were watching those WRL events and some of those Grid Life events where you used to see the in-car video and it had like the cameras seeing front and back, but it also could see all the telemetry and everything that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the ones that we liked were taken by the Sentinel system. Remember James came on our podcast earlier?
Right.
You know, we have no excuse since he lent us one for trial and demonstration purposes. We should actually probably put that in one of our cars. Maybe two.
I really think we should.
I think we should.
I know.
Because then we'd look like the immature endurance racing team that we are. Oh, wait, I mispronounced that, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. We could
So what does the
have,
Sentinel system do?
we could have 3 cameras with picture-in-picture. We could have, if we ever get the AIM system to work, open invitation to anybody from AIM to come on and give us a little bit of love. We need some help. And then we could have all our telemetry on there. And then we can have it streamed live into the paddock or around the world to our millions of fans. We're apparently very popular in Kenya right now. Don't know why, but that's fine. And it can integrate all the available race statistics from like Race Hero and everything. So we could actually see how we're doing on video. We wouldn't even have to carry around our phone anymore. Live.
I love it.
Dominating with Dawson.
Ben Dawson, we have a listener request question for you and Miss Vicky.
Yes.
It's a great day at the House of Listener Requests. How may I direct your call?
I don't know if this is a not understanding what I said or not agreeing with what I said, but either way, great question. Okay. Either way, great question. A listener wrote in and said, hey, you said this a few times. What is the difference between being a good driver versus being a fast driver? I think I said this most recently on our goals episode where I said I was trying to work from improving as a driver to being a fast driver. And, you know, sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't, depending on where you are in your travels of learning how to race. So,
yeah. Well, Bill, I know you're a good driver just from the anecdotal things I've heard you talk about your habits on track. And I can tell you what I mean when I say I know you're a good driver without ever even being in the car with you or watching a whole lot of your video. Because I hear you often talk about after doing your first couple of times on track and sort of recognizing the flow of traffic, especially in a race, but just among different cars at different pace. You're very conscientious about trying to make sure to not mess up anybody else's lap. You're conscientious to watch out for other cars around you. You manage traffic well. You manage faster cars getting by you. You're described being patient and making your own passes, and not pulling a move that's going to put anybody else out of place. Which are all things.
Do you ever feel a butt coming in, Miss Vicky? Do you ever feel?
There's a butt coming.
There's a butt coming.
No, there's no butt. There's no butt. There's no butt here at all. There's an and all those things that I'm describing are some of the things that comprise good driving. Being a good driver is just safety is a huge component to good driving. Manners, safety. I think those are parts of good driving on track. Also good driving is just blocking and tackling this stuff, like putting your car where it's supposed to be, being predictable. And all those things to be. Yeah.
Well,
stuff are all parts of being good, not necessarily parts of being fast. You can do all that stuff without being quickly doing it.
It's a team effort to get everybody around the track safely.
Yeah, we say that a lot. It's a group effort.
It's true.
It's all
We
one
all
big
got
team.
kids. Everybody's got kids or a family, or at least I hope there's somebody who's out there looking out for me, wants to see you come back from the track. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So Ben,
So
I
that
guess could you be a good driver and not be a fast driver?
hell yeah, I know plenty of good drivers, and I pass them all the time.
And I
I
wave
spend
as I go by.
I spend like I go out on track and spend my whole time passing drivers.
Okay,
So
so
yeah, I mean, I'm passing some plenty good ones. They're the ones you pass who play well in traffic. They're the ones who aren't trying to surprise you with any kind of crazy
Who are
stuff you're throwing out.
predictable.
Yeah, predictable. I mean, I don't mind being challenged. I think challenging another driver is sometimes part of good driving too. So I also appreciate if somebody wants to run hard, let's go run hard. That's also part of good driving as long as it's safe. You know what I mean?
all right, so before we get to how what their difference is, let's make sure Vicky's on the same page. Miss Vicky, what is a good driver versus a fast driver?
A good driver is, to me, like Ben said, is somebody who is predictable, who is quick, who knows how to manage traffic, who knows how to manage their car, and knows how to react properly in certain situations. So whether you're starting to lose control of your car, you know how to grab your car back,
Mhm.
and how to safely get around the track and be quick about it, and how to make a good solid lap. That's a good driver. Now,
Car control, that's a good point.
car control is huge,
Yeah,
and
that's a really good point. You
being
made.
prepared to, like, things go bad. You could be lined up with two other people and your car goes south. How are you going to do that? Not knock these other two guys out. But
Yeah, that's a great point.
In order to be a fast driver, is you have to incorporate that along with a lot of courage to push your limit.
Mm-hmm. I think when I originally said this, and I'm not disagreeing with either one of you, I'm just expanding. I think to me, I had been working on being a good driver for a few years, and that to me meant knowing my lines, knowing my technique, getting very good at trail
Yeah.
braking, getting very good at early
But,
apexing, late. Yes, dear.
No, go. I did. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I got excited and I started bulldozing.
This is where she
Go
needs
ahead.
her pad to write
I
her
need
note.
my pad. I do, guys. Seriously, I'm so sorry. It's like I write down my thing before I forget it. Go ahead.
That's
I
right.
do apologize.
That's fine. Okay. But it was the blocking and tackling of the things you need to be good at to be a fast driver, but not necessarily implementing them at the level that you need to be a good driver. And, not coming from an endurance racing background, there's also the factor of pushing. And I can guarantee that of the three people in this podcast right now, Ben is by far the best at going close to 10 tenths, sometimes a little over, relative to Vicky and I, who are 8 tenths. And when we push it, we go to 9 tenths, because we've got mostly an endurance background, which is why I'm trying to push a little bit for us to not only get to be better drivers, but actually try to do sprint races and time trials and things like that. Because it's just something we haven't done. And until you push your skills to a higher level, to more towards the limit, you're not a fast driver, but you can be a good driver. I don't know if that's along the lines of what you guys were saying. I know she's gonna pop. Go
I
ahead.
am going to pop. Well, the other thing I kept forgetting to mention was that there's also being a strategic driver,
Mhm.
because that's something that I'm starting to tap in now, which is, I guess, the second phase of after you learn your lines is how to be strategic about your lines and getting around with traffic management and trying to be clever, not so much as boxing people in, which I have done a little bit. Okay, no, or following trains, but is trying to predict the car in front of you and then trying to drive opposite of what they're doing so you can make interesting passes. That is like next level. When you start
head games and working traffic is a whole different. That's more. I would think of that in kind of the category bucket of saying this is about racecraft. If somebody's like, "Hey, what is racecraft?" That's when
Right.
Vicky's learning how to start thinking two moves ahead, like realizing, oh, the two of us are going to come up into this corner. If I let them have the inside, they're going to get pinched off. But I know I can ride this corner kind of wide and keep my speed. You know what I mean? Whatever you're doing little mental calculations, and you're not just reacting to stuff that's right ahead of you. And that is a factor of racetrack. And that is also, I mean, that also feeds into being a good driver too. And I the whole time y'all have been talking, I have been thinking about the thing you said about car control and how that can really tie into being part of a good driver, not just being adept and skilled, but also part of being good is being ready to react to adverse conditions. I think Bill touched on it too, but I mean, car control is going to be great because you're going to be a good driver if you're pushing it, get in there, and you get out of shape next to somebody. You know what I mean? When the car starts to slide a little bit next to somebody, if you're a noob and a bad driver, you're just like, oh my god, you should hit him. But if you're good, you got good car control. You think you can a lot. If you're somebody who's got pretty good car placement and car control, and you get in a little squirrely inside somebody, hopefully you got enough experience and muscle memory built up from all the practice you've been doing in your quest to become a good driver that you make a small correction where you are, you stay next to that car you got all crossed up next to, and things move on. If you're a bad driver, that's a bad day for everybody. So I think that you made a great point, Vicky, when you brought up car control, because I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, being skilled enough inside the car that you can handle, different conditions on track, different weather conditions, different surface traction conditions, run through somebody's oil, being ready for all kinds of upsets is a huge part of being a good driver. And I think a lot of that comes through practicing a lot. I think when I watch my own driving, I get bored because I think it looks pretty easy and I forget to pay attention. But I'm going pretty fast. I think the more boring you can make it look, probably the better you are getting at all this stuff. Because I mean, I have plenty of time for playing all the head games in traffic because none of this stuff happened right in front of me. Like it's already been decided. My body, my brain already decided how we're going to handle this without really checking in with the front of my head. So the front of my head's busy managing traffic, and I think you're still muted, Vicky, if you're talking because I don't hear anything.
I got it.
There you go.
That's the only reason she didn't interrupt you, Ben.
That was like, man, I'm really getting a good run going here. I think turning yourself into a fast driver comes in when you just start trying to chase people around. Like, I think I shouldn't be passing. I mean, you just get more and more competitive. And I think you get faster and faster just because you want to accept being outpaced by cars you think you should be passing. So I think the speed comes with time and practice, but it's way more important to get good and learn all your Boy Scout stuff first. Where do I need to be? How do I get the grid? Where do I put my car on track? Where does traffic expect me to be if they're coming by? Get real good. Have all that stuff be natural, and then you start worrying about getting faster and faster at it, which I think is sort of what Bill's describing a little bit too. Am I right?
Yeah, it's one thing to have skills, the basics of the blocking and tackling. The foundation for your driving, but it's another thing to push them a little bit, and take them towards your limit and perhaps even towards the limit, which are often different. And I think that's the next step for me. And it's probably the goal for the season. If you were to say, what's your number one goal? That's probably it.
And
how do you quantify it?
I think what we're doing as a team, whether they know it or not, is we're actually keeping track of our times and what is a good time and what's a good sector time and what's a good, starting to really use the data as a measure as opposed to just a historical document that,
right.
Hey, we did faster this time. Yay. And actually trying to get the final few seconds or the final few tenths or the final few hundredths out of each little piece of the race and the track and the event.
So when you approach that, are you thinking like, okay, New Hampshire, I think this would be a good time for my car, or historically we did this and I want to knock X amount of time off. How are you setting those goals for yourself?
Well, I have all of the past performance. I know to the surprise of no one.
Naturally you do, yes.
So I have each of us in what car at what racetrack, what we've done the best in the past. But it was kind of like I said, it was kind of a encyclopedia in the team Excel notebook, and we never really did anything with it. I just kept track of it because I thought it was interesting. Now we're going to try to see if we can cross those out and put some new ones in there.
This is literally the same thing that's happening in my job right now. We've been kind of doing run what you brung for a really long time, and now people are starting like, hey, well, we were getting pretty good at running what you brung. Let's see if we can do better and better, and make more out of what we're doing. So yeah, I'm with you.
So if you want, you've hit something, and Miss Vicky's eyes are gonna roll to the back of her head. I have some metric dashboards that are so easy to do, and they take very little bit of time, but they do actually measure the things that matter.
Well, shoot them to me just in case I have a chance to maybe turn them into some sort of way to kiss ass with my boss or something. Right?
I can make you look good. These are things I adopted, and I adapted.
Bill's
from,
a data guy.
I am.
Normally I extremely bristle at this sort of thing and suggestion at all, but shit's getting weird at work. So yes, shoot them to me. I might need to use them.
My personal rule for the business stuff is if it takes me more than 5 minutes a month, I'm not doing it. So that's my max. And some of these are like 5 seconds. So
cool,
but they look cool. Anyway, all right, Miss Vicky, did we miss anything? I'm sure we did.
Only like when all of a sudden everything starts to come together on the track, when you have speed and the skill that you've gotten up to that point, it is such a surreal feeling. Like I've had it like 3 times.
Yeah.
When everything is clicked and everything was like in the zone. I mean, I'm not sure, like when you go into the zone and you're just like, I got this, and you feel everything. It is the most incredible feeling when you know that you're at that moment personal best.
Yeah.
Or that you feel it. It is an incredible feeling when you're on the track.
Have you had that mostly in competition or at DEs? When you experience that?
No, actually, I think I felt it like 3 times, I think.
In a race or at a DE?
In a race. And I think one of them, I was truck hunting.
Yeah, I was going to say part of this must come into your because if you can't do this, because the stuff that is exciting you about this is shit you can't do at a DE, right? Like chasing somebody down,
yeah, right,
forcefully passing. They're like, I'm gonna pass this guy.
Yeah, and like you said, you were chasing somebody that,
right?
And that's what I was doing, was I was chasing somebody, but I was trying to do it and incorporate all the skill that I had learned. And
right.
It was like the best feeling.
Well, I gotta tell you, when you drive such that you go out and pass and never get past, it does feel good.
It does.
When all you're doing is passing everybody and nobody's passing you, it feels great. It's very rewarding and fun.
It does. So the first time I ever saw Miss Vicky get somewhat competitive, we're playing in the finals of a volleyball tournament long ago.
Top Gun face. Yes, y'all had that Top Gun deal going for a while.
Yeah. She was all oiled up and she was flexing, wearing her jeans.
Yeah.
So
jeans, no shirt.
That's right. Oil, butter. Got the butter on. So we're in the finals and we're playing against this other team, and it was a co-ed 2-man, and
well, it would be a 2-man, would it?
Nah, two peoples.
Two peoples.
Doubles. How about doubles? We'll go with doubles. And we look across, and there's this guy. He's like 6'5", and he looks rather sporty. However, he's wearing these white loafers because the sand was kind of packed, but it wasn't that packed. And I just turned to her, and she's got this look in her eye, and I'm like, there is no way we're losing to some dude wearing loafers.
Crazy. That's insane.
He was good, though. He was really good.
He was.
He was one of the top players on the beach.
Yeah.
I said I want to say he was really light in those loafers, and I don't mean that in any way as a homophobic joke. It's just I really meant he was really getting around the sand in those loafers.
Yeah, he was. And, you're in a beach volleyball tournament. You don't wear shoes. It doesn't matter. But anyway. All right, Miss Vicky, we're going to get competitive a little bit this year, huh?
Yeah, we are.
All right. Very well.
We are.
Awesome. I can't wait to see and hear about you guys getting faster and faster. We should do a check-in.
We will.
Who's getting fast toward the end of the season?
We should do a podcast. Oh, we have a podcast.
We should go and talk about it somewhere.
We should. Maybe somebody could learn and get better. That'd be great. What a great idea for a podcast. We should start one of those.
I feel like such a crank and a fraud all the time. But then when I hear somebody actually listens to this and there's value to it, I'm like, that's great.
See, you say that's great, and I say fooled another one, but that's okay.
Gotcha.
You thought we knew what we were talking about. No way. Anyway, very well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No, thank you.